So do you believe like it's relative or absolute? Like is there a universal truth out there, or is it based on your perception? Based on
I think it's relative. I think it's your perception, because some people don't trust people at all. You're saying like they think anybody. You're saying everybody lies. You're saying I do, y'all do, obviously. You're saying, so I think it's relative. I don't think there's anywhere you're saying that you could possibly be that it would just be absolute.
Now, on theism, our moral duties are constituted by God's commands. God's moral nature is expressed toward us in the form of divine commands, which constitute our moral duties or obligations. Far from being arbitrary, these commands flow necessarily from His own moral nature. His commands to us are therefore not arbitrary, but are rather necessary reflections of His character. Therefore, it makes no sense to ask, for example, if God were to command us to eat our children, would we be morally obligated to do so? This question is absurd because the proposition has an impossible antecedent and therefore no non-trivial truth value. It's like asking, if there were a square circle, would its area be the square of one of its sides? The question just has no meaningful answer because it's logically incoherent.
You know, let me frankly tell you that three basic avenues or journeys towards truth are bound to fail. One is relativism. In fact, I gave that example. There is no God is a self-defeating statement to show that relativism is not a valid approach to truth. The second one is agnosticism, which you mentioned in your question. When someone makes an absolute statement, you can never know God. My simple question to that person would be, how did you know that? And the third question is skepticism. You should doubt everything. Then you have a problem. Should I believe you? Or should I doubt you as well?
To think that raping and torturing a little girl is morally equivalent to loving and nurturing her is, I think, just palpably false.
So you see, the existence of evil, if you take evil seriously as being real, demands that there is some type of God. Because the only way you know what evil is because you know what good is. And the only way there can be a real objective good is if there is some type of mind prior to the human mind who defines what's good. If there is no mind prior to the human mind to define what's good, then we all know who creates good and evil. The human mind. Which means it's totally relative depending upon which human mind you're talking to.
Of course, the humanist has another problem. At the moment you say the human being is the measure of all things, then you have to ask which human being. Is it Mother Teresa, Adolf Hitler, or the rest of us who are somewhere between these two extremes? Which one should be the measure of all things?
If God does not exist, then what source remains for objective moral duties? Now, traditionally, our moral duties were thought to spring from God's commandments, such as the Ten Commandments. But if there is no God, then what basis remains for objective moral duties? On the atheistic view, human beings are just animals, relatively evolved primates. And animals have no moral obligations to one another. When a lion kills a zebra, it kills the zebra, but it doesn't murder it. When a great white shark forcibly copulates with a female, it forcibly copulates with her, but it doesn't rape her. For none of these things has any moral dimension. They're neither prohibited nor obligatory. So, if God does not exist, why think that we have any moral obligations to do anything? Who or what imposes these moral duties upon us? Where do they come from? It's very hard to see that they would be anything more than a subjective impression ingrained into us by societal and parental conditioning.
You know, you have a problem when you reduce morality to the pure level of instincts.
Take God out of the picture, and all we seem to be left with is an ape-like creature on a speck of solar dust beset with delusions of moral grandeur.
Some people think truth is relative, but as Christians, we know it's absolute because truth is what is factual and real. And truth comes from God, and God is unchanging, and there's not millions of gods out there. If there's no God, and each of us as human beings is the one who determines what's true, then of course it's relative because there's billions of human beings. But if truth finds its reality in God, then there's only one truth, and it's absolute for all people who God has made and all people who are accountable to God.
If God does not exist, then there is no moral accountability for one's actions. Even if there were objective moral values and duties under atheism, they're irrelevant because there's no moral accountability. If life ends at the grave, then it makes no difference whether one has lived as a Stalin or as a Mother Teresa. As the Russian author Fyodor Dostoevsky rightly said, if there is no immortality, then all things are permitted.
All right, so do you believe like truth is relative or absolute? Like anything's absolute truth out there, or is it based on perception, like your own feelings?
I don't know what to say though.
Okay. So we looked at the insufficiency of moral relativism, and we try to understand the implications of moral relativism. And now looking into the folly of moral relativism, I want to show you something that really depicts moral relativism at its core. And even though people may say this is an extreme case, nonetheless, it really depicts the true essence of what moral relativism leads to. So here it is.
Hold on, why y'all chasing me, man? What are y'all chasing me for? Dude, this is not your ball. What are you talking about? Dude, this is not your ball. I just took the ball. Why do you say it's your ball? What are you talking about, man? Dude, I just took the ball. You know what I'm saying? Just because you go by, you have your own moral code and saying that that's right, this is wrong, doesn't mean I have one. So, you know what I'm saying? I took the ball, man, so this is rightfully mine.
Yeah, really. You wrong because that's my ball. He was there.
No, I think he right on this one. I gotta go with my man over here.
He was there when I bought it.
But I think what you're saying though is right, man.
Yeah, because think about it. Just think about it for a second. You know what I'm saying? Just because you think that it's right doesn't mean that it's right for everybody. I think that it's right because I took the ball. So, you know what I'm saying? You got your own way of believing. I got my way. So this is my ball, man. I took it rightfully. You know? That's just the way it is, man. I'm sorry, you know? Gotta love relativism, man. Got to. Hey, this is a court up the street, you know what I'm saying? You trying to go up there and play a little bit?
Yeah, let's go ahead and hoop, man.
Alright.
I'll catch you later, man.
Alright.
Where y'all going? Can I get the ball back? No, just give me the ball. Just come back here. What y'all doing? Get the ball back. It's supposed to be my friend, man. Where you going? It's my ball.